All right, everyone, here we are, day 40 of the 44-day challenge. 4 more days to go after this video. We're ratcheting closer to the end of our little experiment here where we read a book every single day that Amazon sells on how to sell your company and get the information out to you guys where it's best utilized via YouTube. Anyway, here we go. Today's book is Walk Away Wealthy: The Entrepreneur's Exit Planning Playbook by Mark Tepper. All right, Mark Tepper is a certified financial planner. He specializes in working with entrepreneurs as they set up their business for an exit event or a liquidity event, as he calls it in his book. So the biggest takeaway that we got out of this book, and I thought this was a great way for Mark to display it in the book, is simplify as much as you possibly can to get to the value of your company. And this is as simple as it gets. The value of your company is EBITDA, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization, times a multiple. And this multiple is different for every single industry, and it is affected by all of these factors we're going to talk about here in a second. But if you look at this equation, there's basically 2 ways for you to increase the value of your company. And I solely agree with this. There's really only the 2 ways. You're going to either increase the income that your company is making, what falls to the bottom line at the end of the day. And I put SDE here because a lot of the videos we're putting together and the whole purpose of putting this together is for companies that are doing under $3 million a year in sales. So if you're doing over, you're going to use EBITDA, but if you're under, you're going to use seller's discretionary earnings here. So this is, but basically they both talk about the same thing. It's the income your company is generating, your free cash flow, times a multiple for your industry. So if we know how to affect this quite easily, I mean, not necessarily easily, but we know how to affect this, make more money, then what's the other factor that's going to change the value of our company? That's the multiple. And we've talked about this a couple times in different videos and how to increase the value of your company, but I'm really going to drill down, as Mark did in his book, of how to affect this multiple, okay? So first and foremost, actually there's no real order here, so it's not first and foremost, but this is the stuff that you can do. Comprehensive owner's manual. All right, we've talked about this. You need to have policies, procedures. You need to have a manual for your company. It's instantly going to increase your multiple. Like, this is easy stuff, guys. This is stuff that all it's going to take you is time. You can delegate this to your employees. We talked about how to do owner's manuals in another one of our videos. I don't remember the day. I think it might have been about day 22. And I was talking about a trucking company and how they did it. But anyhow, super easy. Boom, you're instantly going to increase your multiple, okay? Industry demand. This isn't something that we can necessarily affect. If you're in, some industries have higher multiples than others. It's just a fact. If you're in manufacturing, it's much higher than, say, if you operate a restaurant. So this isn't something that we can move all that easily. Accuracy of record keeping. This is something we can easily do. We can start keeping better records of everything that's happening in the company. We can start keeping better financials of everything that's happening in the company. That's going to move this. It's going to move our multiple. Okay? Quality of personnel. There's personnel that's in your company that aren't of the quality that you necessarily want and think are going to be good and be attracted to a buyer. We need to replace those people. We need to get better people. If you want to know how to do this, you want to start following some of John C. Maxwell's stuff, because he talks about the law of the lid and he talks about how to attract better people to your company. And at the end of the day, it comes down to being a better leader. But this is something we can definitely affect so that we can get a higher multiple. All right, condition of facility and equipment. Your equipment's old, you need to replace it. Your facility looks worn down, it looks tired, upgrade it. Again, these are easy things to do. It's going to affect our multiple. General economic conditions, we don't have a lot of control over that. Location and lease. Well, your location is where your location is. Hopefully it's good. If it's a great location, it's going to affect your multiple, but we can affect our lease. We need to get a better lease. We need to make sure that there's a lease in place that's going to extend past the sale. Okay, that's going to make it easier to sell. Terms of the sale. These are things that we can affect. We've talked about terms in other videos. A lot of this comes down to what you're willing to, a vendor take back, if you're willing to do a vendor take back, how long you're willing to stay in the business to train the new owner, multiple things. But again, in other videos, so you can go back and check that. Customer and employee contracts. We need to have contracts that are going to extend past the point of our sale. So if you have a contract that won't survive beyond you, it's of no good. It's of no use, right? So we need really good contracts with our customers, really good contracts with our employees. Recurring revenues. This is a big one. Mark talked about this a lot in his book. He is a follower of John Warrillo's stuff. So am I. And if you want to know how to put recurring revenue, we'll do an ad pitch for this. But if you want to know in your industry how to get more recurring revenue, this means revenue that you're going to see on a monthly or an annual over and over again from the same customer. So when your buyer looks at your financials, they look at what your income is, they know there's stability there, it's going to happen on a recurring basis. This is the best book you can possibly buy to figure out how to get more recurring revenue into your business. It's called The Automatic Customer. Okay? Creating a subscription business in any industry. All about recurring revenue and putting it into your company. That book is probably, well, it probably says right on it. Either way, it's probably $20. So $20, it's going to increase your multiple big time. All right? Diverse customer base. You need to have a customer base that is, like it says, more diverse, right? So you aren't having one customer that's a huge part of your company. We've talked about this before. That 15% is kind of the number that you don't want one customer to be more than 15% of your business. A path to growth. This doesn't cost you anything except for time. You know your industry best. You know these paths that you can take, these avenues to put more revenue into your company and more growth in the future. You know it. You might not have done it because it's effort and you're kind of getting to the end of your business cycle personally and you just don't want to do it. But you can lay that path out in a business plan that can be shown to the buyer, or you can think about who your potential buyer is going to be and how they can leverage your company, and you can lay that out in your memorandum. This is going to change your multiple. It's going to add value. It's going to make your price higher. And it really doesn't cost you anything but time and thought. And then owner dependence. All right. Owner dependence is a big one. We always talk about it. Mark talked about it in his book. And there's a couple questions here. He says in his book, so that you can go over to know if your business is dependent on you. And you even know in your gut right now, even as we're talking about it. But here's some questions, or here's some ways to frame it. You don't take vacations. If you don't take vacations, it's because your business is dependent on you. You're on a first name basis with all your customers. Your customers know you by name. It's a nice thing to know your customers by name, for sure. I can acknowledge that. But if every one of your customers knows you by name, your business is dependent on you. You sign all the checks. No one else is signing checks. You're not around. They can't be signed. It's dependent on you. Process and procedures exist only in your head. That's going back to comprehensive owner's manual is what we need, right? You got to get that stuff out of your head onto paper. You get sucked into debates about insignificant things. If you're at the office, you're around, you're getting sucked into debates with your staff about insignificant things. They need your feedback to get these small decisions made. Your business is dependent on you. You try to control every last detail. You rarely call in sick. You hire smart people and underutilize them. Do not make this mistake. The people that you hired them for a reason. You hired them so they can excel in their positions and their job. You do not need to micromanage these people. And if you are, you're making your business dependent on you. And the business is not scalable. Okay, so those are the things to think about if your business is dependent on you. You want to make, at the end of the day, you aren't going to be there when you sell it. That's what you really need to focus on, is that you aren't going to be there. So you need to make that business run effectively and efficiently without you. All right, there we go. As simple as it gets for how to increase value in your company, thanks to Mark Tepper. That is day 40 of the 44-day challenge. We will see you tomorrow on day 41 as we get closer and closer to our last day of this marathon of reading a book every single day and getting the information out to you guys. Thanks. Again, I'm Scott Duke. You're inside the Wellstand studio. We'll see you tomorrow.